So that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to unpack, say, 5 common signs of this wealth sabotage.
Show you how they actually show up in your business.
Exactly. But not just what they are, but dig into the why. Why do they happen?
And then, crucially, give you some simple, genuinely aligned steps to start unlocking that next level of abundance you're after.
We'll guide you through spotting them, but also, understanding where they come from. Okay, let's talk directly to you for a second. Have you ever felt like, you're really capable, you're hardworking,
Yeah.
maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're creating amazing impact, really living by your values, pouring time, money, energy into growth?
All the right things, seemingly.
Exactly. But somehow, the income, the wealth, it just doesn't quite line up with all that effort. Or, frankly, your potential. If that feeling hits home, if it sounds familiar, listen, you are definitely not alone. And really importantly, you're not broken.
No, not at all. What's likely going on here is something subtle but powerful. It's often called self-sabotage.
Right.
But maybe not the dramatic kind we picture. Wealth sabotage is usually quieter, sneakier.
How so?
Well, it kind of weaves itself into these unconscious patterns, thoughts, behaviors you don't even notice, maybe. And these patterns quietly put a cap on your income. They can mute your impact, drain your energy, all without you realizing it's happening.
Okay, but here's the hopeful part, right? The good news. Once you start seeing these patterns, once you bring them into the light, you can actually begin to shift them.
And often, quite quickly, once the awareness is there.
Yeah. So that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to unpack, say, 5 common signs of this wealth sabotage.
Show you how they actually show up in your business.
Exactly. But not just what they are, but dig into the why. Why do they happen?
And then, crucially, give you some simple, genuinely aligned steps to start unlocking that next level of abundance you're after.
We'll guide you through spotting them, but also, understanding where they come from.
Yeah, because there's this fantastic insight from the research that just nails it. You can't create a new level of wealth from the same level of identity and belief that created the old one.
Wow, say that again?
You can't create a new level of wealth from the same level of identity and belief that created the old one.
That really hits home. It speaks to awareness, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like that saying, what you don't heal, you repeat. Awareness is key.
Okay, all right, let's pull back the curtain then. Let's dive into the first sign you might be, maybe accidentally, sabotaging your wealth.
Let's do it.
Sign number 1, undervaluing your work.
Ah, a classic.
Right. And this shows up in a few ways. Maybe you find you're constantly undercharging for what you offer, which is amazing stuff, by the way.
Or maybe proactively offering discounts, like before anyone even asks.
Yes. Or the big one, over-delivering. Piling on extra work just to feel like you're justifying the price you did set.
And what's really fascinating, if you look underneath, it looks like a pricing strategy problem, right? But often it stems from this deep unconscious fear.
Fear of what?
Fear that other people won't see your value. And where does that come from? Usually it's because on some level you're struggling to fully own your own worth.
Oof. Okay, so it's not just about setting higher prices.
No, it's deeper. It can be this active subconscious resistance to actually receiving what you're worth, maybe tied to old stuff, like feeling you had to earn validation or love through sheer effort.
That makes a ton of sense. So if that's the deep why, how do we start to shift it?
Well, the big shift is about anchoring your prices differently.
How?
Not in that fear of rejection or am I worth it, but anchoring them firmly in the actual transformation you create for your clients.
The results.
Exactly. The results, the problem you solve, the growth they experience because of you, focus there.
So moving from like transaction thinking to transformation thinking.
Precisely. When you connect your price to the impact, the internal feeling, that resistance starts to change.
Okay, I see how that works. And it's amazing how that internal feeling, that self-valuation piece, how it then spills over into whether we're even willing to put ourselves out there, which leads perfectly into sign number 2.
Which is?
Avoiding sales and visibility.
Oh, yeah, big one.
And this isn't just, hating making sales calls, though it can be that too.
Right.
It looks like always putting off launching that new offer.
Right.
Or being really hesitant to post on social media consistently.
Or that thing where you just keep forgetting to follow up with people who showed interest. Curious that.
Right, that forgetfulness. So looking bigger picture, why does that happen?
Well, Often, just being visible, putting yourself and your work out there can feel really unsafe deep down.
Unsafe how? Like judgment.
Yeah, there's definitely the fear of judgment, fear of rejection. That's real.
Sure.
But here's the twist that catches people off guard. Sometimes it's also a fear of being too successful.
Wait, fear of success? That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, but think about it. Success might mean more responsibility, maybe less privacy. It might shake up your current life, your relationships, your comfort zone.
Huh. Stepping into a bigger version of yourself feels risky.
Exactly. It's a fear of outgrowing your current reality, in a way.
Wow. Okay, so if visibility feels unsafe, consciously or unconsciously, what's the shift? How do we move past that?
The really powerful shift here is to reframe what sales and visibility actually are.
Reframe them how?
Think of sales not as bothering someone or being pushy, but as an act of genuine service.
Service. Yeah.
You have something that can help people, right? Selling is just offering that help. And visibility, that's not ego, it's leadership. Stepping up.
So I'm not bothering people, I'm helping them. I'm not showing off, I'm leading.
Exactly. You shift from a mindset of taking or needing something from them to one of giving and guiding. When you truly believe you're serving, that resistance to being seen, it starts to melt away.
I like that. Shifting from taking to giving. Okay. Now let's talk about a pattern that honestly feels like a requirement for entrepreneurs sometimes. But you're saying it's a saboteur.
Which one's that?
Overworking without allowing receivership.
Ah, the hustle culture trap.
Totally. You're grinding super hard, right? Putting in crazy hours. But the money, the results, they just don't seem to scale with that effort.
Like you're running faster and faster on the hamster wheel, but not really getting further ahead financially.
Exactly. It feels like you're always chasing, never quite arriving.
This brings up such a critical question, doesn't it?
Which is?
Where did we internalize this idea that money or value or success only comes through struggle?
Good question. Society, parents.
Probably a mix. It's often a really deep-seated belief, this conditioning that hard work equals worthiness and anything else is suspect.
Yeah.
And because of that belief, taking a break, allowing things to be easy, just receiving abundance without feeling like you bled for it, it can feel deeply undeserved, even lazy or wrong.
So your nervous system is wired for effort equals safety.
Pretty much. Ease can feel like a threat to that system.
Wow. Okay, no, so many people stuck in that cycle. So the shift, how do we break free?
The shift is, maybe counterintuitively, to practice ease, consciously.
Practice ease, like schedule it.
As a deliberate strategy, yes. It's not the reward you get after the struggle. Maybe it's a prerequisite for sustainable flow. So create actual space in your day, your week, not just for more work, but space to breathe, to receive, to appreciate, to celebrate what's already working, what's already flowing in.
So ease isn't laziness, it's strategy.
Ease isn't a luxury. You could see it as an energetic pathway, creating space signals to your whole system. Hey, it's safe to receive now. And that invites more to come in.
Okay, practicing ease as a strategy. I like that. Let's move to the fourth sign. This one feels sneaky. Saying no to opportunities out of fear.
Ah, yes. This isn't about healthy boundaries, is it?
No, this is different. This is self-limitation disguised as something else, maybe?
Like what?
Like turning down a great collaboration that could be amazing. Or refusing to invest in that coach or that system, would help you level up.
Right, or avoiding going after those bigger contracts or clients.
Yeah. Telling yourself, maybe not even consciously, oh, I'm not ready yet.
And what's underneath that?
Fear, again.
Often, yes. It connects back to those scarcity mindsets we talked about. Or just a plain old fear of failure.
Or fear of success, maybe, like we discussed.
Could be. Or sometimes it shows up as perfectionism. I can't do it until it's perfect, which means you never do it. Or waiting endlessly for the perfect time.
Which never comes.
Right. And these subtle fears, they keep you playing small, even when a really aligned opportunity is staring you in the face. It's fear of the unknown, fear of stepping onto a bigger stage.
So how do we break that pattern? Saying no when we should say yes.
The shift is pretty radical, but simple.
Yeah.
Say yes. Say yes to the opportunities that genuinely feel aligned, that resonate deep down.
Even if you don't feel 100% ready.
Especially then. Say yes before you feel fully ready. Because the research, the wisdom here is clear. Real growth, the exciting growth, it happens in the stretch zone.
Outside the comfort zone.
Exactly. That's where the magic is.
Okay. Trust the alignment even if the brain is screaming, not ready.
It's about trusting your gut, your intuition about the alignment, more than you trust your brain's need for total certainty and safety. Stepping into that stretch, that's where the transformation really picks up speed.
Got it. Okay, final sign. Sign number 5. This ties everything together in a practical way, I think.
Let's hear it.
Neglecting your financial stewardship.
Ooh, the money stuff.
Yeah, the actual numbers. This looks like, actively avoiding looking at your business bank account or your profit and loss statements.
Feeling totally overwhelmed by taxes, bookkeeping, tracking expenses, so you just don't do it.
Right. Or just staying really vague about your financial goals, like, I want to make more money, but no specifics. It's like there's a deliberate fogginess around the finances.
Mm-hmm. And if we pay back the layers on this one, connect it to the deeper picture.
What do we find? Is it just being bad with numbers?
Rarely. It's usually not about math skills. It's often rooted in some heavy emotions tied to money.
Like what?
Guilt, maybe? Guilt about having money when others don't or wanting more. Shame, perhaps, about past financial mistakes or current debt. Or just that pervasive underlying fear of not enough. Fear that if you really look at the numbers, they'll just confirm your worst fears about your business or your own capability.
So looking feels dangerous. It's easier to just look away.
Exactly. The avoidance is a protection mechanism, but it keeps you stuck.
Wow, that emotional weight is huge. So the shift here, what do we do?
The shift is crucial. Get intimate with your money.
Intimate, how?
Start tracking. Know your numbers. Get crystal clear on income, expenses, profit, goals. This isn't just about good business hygiene, though it is that too.
What else is it?
It's an act of empowerment. It builds incredible confidence. When you know where you stand, you can make conscious choices.
Oh.
And energetically, clarity creates space. It literally opens up room for more abundance to flow to you.
So clarity isn't scary, it's powerful.
Financial clarity is foundational. It's like turning the lights on in a room you've been stumbling around in. Once you see clearly, you can actually move forward effectively.
Okay, that's huge. Now, before we wrap up, it feels really important to touch on something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
This self-sabotage stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, is it?
No, absolutely not. That's a critical point. Our sources really emphasize this. These patterns often aren't just mindset issues you can logic your way out of.
They're deeper.
Yeah, they're often wired into the nervous system. They're identity-level patterns, ingrained much deeper than surface-level affirmations can usually reach on their own.
Okay, so if mindset shifts are just the start, what else helps?
Well, that's where deeper work comes in. Things like somatic practices.
Somatic,
Yeah,
meaning body-based.
exactly. Practices that help release stress, trauma, and those limiting patterns that get stored in the body. Helping the nervous system feel safe enough to actually receive more, for example. Or things like subconscious reprogramming techniques, ways to access and rewrite those limiting beliefs that operate below our conscious awareness.
So working on the roots, not just the leaves.
Precisely. Think about it. If undervaluing your work comes from a nervous system pattern that feels unsafe to receive, just telling yourself, I am worthy, might not be enough. Somatic work might involve things like gentle movement or specific breath work to build that internal capacity, that felt sense of safety to hold more wealth or success.
Makes sense.
And of course, working with a good coach, a therapist, a mentor, someone skilled who can provide guidance tailored to your specific patterns that can dramatically accelerate the process.
And that's really encouraging, right? Because it means you don't have to figure this all out alone.
Absolutely not.
You don't have to stay stuck operating from that, survival mode place.
Yeah, where the nervous system is just trying to keep you safe by keeping you small.
Right. Instead of expanding and creating what you really want. There's support. There are resources to help make this shift.
There really are clear pathways to move beyond these old, limiting patterns.
Okay, so let's bring this deep dive home. The big takeaway really is that awareness changes everything.
It's the indispensable first step.
You can't change what you can't see. But now, hopefully you're starting to see some of these patterns. So take a moment now, maybe after listening, just reflect honestly. Which of those 5 signs really resonated? Which one felt most familiar?
And once you have a sense of that, just consider, what's one small thing, one small aligned action you could take, maybe this week, to gently start shifting that specific pattern?
It doesn't have to be huge.
No, even one tiny intentional step can start a ripple effect. It builds momentum.
Because here's the really exciting truth we want to leave you with. Something to really chew on.
Go on.
Your next level, that next level of income, of impact, of freedom you dream about, it's already here. It's waiting.
Waiting for what?
Waiting for the next version of you to show up and claim it. So the question isn't if it's possible. The question is, what version of you needs to emerge, needs to show up today to claim that abundance?
That's powerful.
The sooner you stop, unintentionally sabotaging and start consciously aligning your thoughts, your energy, your actions, the sooner you unlock everything that is already yours, just waiting for you.